Hey, it's Joe Grotesque, and you're listening to Retro Cynical's The Thought Process. So as I'm coming in from outside to record this, I had to deal with a little bit of a mess, to say the least. I walked outside into the dark. My cats, Tyler and Tucker, are both indoor-outdoor cats, and they like to go hunting in the nighttime for moles and field mice. Needless to say, there's been many occasions where they've brought them to the door, almost as if to say, hey, look what I did for you. Anyway, so I walk outside and take my first step out onto the driveway, and I hear this nasty, quiet crunching sound. And right away, I more or less knew that I had stepped on one of their little trophies. So I went back inside to turn on the light, walked back out, and there was a cornucopia of field mice and moles scattered all about. So that was a little bit of cleanup I wasn't expecting to do, but anyway, there's people that have it way worse. I'm not complaining. And that has absolutely nothing to do with what I want to talk about today, which is anime and manga. Now, excluding the 80s cartoons like Voltron, and the reason I exclude that is because at the time, being like 3 to 4 years old, I didn't understand the concept of there being a country called Japan, or that Voltron was considered an anime and was animated by Japanese folks. So I'd have to say my real first exposure to anime at a point to where I could process all those concepts was probably when I was 9. I happened to be in Brooklyn, New York, visiting all of my Italian relatives, and went to a local video store and rented a movie called Outlanders, which is basically a sci-fi action romance comedy anime. And it's only about 45 minutes or so, but it really left an impression on me. After that, probably the following year or two, I really got into Fist of the North Star, Vampire Hunter D, and then probably like a year or so after that, I really got into the Bubblegum Crisis, Devilman, The Guyver. I'd have to say out of all those things, Devilman probably resonated with me the most. So much, in fact, that years later, I got Devilman's head tattooed across my back. Maybe in future episodes I'll mention some of the other anime that I've really gotten into over the years. Not a whole lot of it is all that new. I probably don't have enough modern anime that I like enough to even count on one hand, but there are a couple. So as far as manga goes, the majority of those anime, the manga that they're based off of, is some of my favorite manga as well, especially the Fist of the North Star. I'm also really into the works of Toshio Maeda, who some of you may know is kind of the godfather of the whole tentacle hentai scene, but his work is just really, really great. And he's done all kinds of manga, from straight up educational manga to sports manga to jump style kids manga, horror and action fantasy, all kinds of stuff. But his best known work is probably Urotsuki Doji, which had a pretty popular anime movie series that come out based off of the manga. But it was called Urotsuki Doji, Legend of Overfiend. I actually have a pretty long and cool interview with Toshio here on the channel, if you want to search for it, if that interests you. Anyway, guys, I'm going to keep this relatively short so we can just sort of open it up to discussion in the comments, because it is, after all, 2:30 in the a.m. here, and I do have to work tomorrow. So, as always, thank you guys for taking the time to listen. I'm kind of curious to see what some of you guys regard as your favorite manga and anime, so please share in the comments. If you got any questions for me, don't hesitate to ask. Thanks for listening, and take care.